Good evening, and thank you for coming. I'd like to begin this evening with a lightly humored joke that shows how Christians misunderstand environmental issues. There's a woman who decides to try to do her part for the environment by placing a garbage can in the back of her church. She was planning on collecting empty water bottles to recycle them. She placed a sign above it that said, "Empty water bottles here." Well, the congregation members apparently misunderstood that, and rather than filling it with water bottles, they filled it with water. I'm a student at Liberty University, and I've taken numerous Bible and theology courses. I'm also a deaconess at my local church. God's people should not contribute to making God's creation a chaos, but we should care for it, and we should inhabit it, and we should make sure that it is in order. It is mankind's responsibility to make sure that this happens. Isaiah 45:18 says that God established the earth. He did not create it a chaos. He formed it to be inhabited. My main points this evening are: God placed us in an environmentally authoritative position. We make excuses, and we must take action. God really did place us in an environmentally authoritative position. The book of Genesis begins with a call to stewardship. God calls us to be caretakers. Humanity does have a call. Genesis 2:15 says, "The Lord took the man, and he put him in the Garden of Eden to till it and to keep it." Ellen Bernstein, who is the founder of the first Jewish environmental organization, says that not only should there be human dominion, but there must also be equal human service. So not only should we dominate the earth, but we must also serve it and care for it. Dominion is given in Genesis 1:28, where it says, "Fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over every living thing." My second point was that we make excuses, and I've heard many excuses. One of those excuses is that scientists make it all up. In the words of Calvin DeWitt, environmental professor at the University of Wisconsin, and the president of the Academy of Evangelical Scientists and Ethicists, he says that people think that if they take action that they're going to be supporting those people that they disagree with. But I say, even if we disagree, shouldn't we still uphold our environmental and biblical responsibility and care for the earth? The other excuse I've heard is it's all political. People say that politicians use environmental issues just to get votes. But I say, how many presidents or governors do we have who are really serious environmentalists? Another excuse that I've heard is that God's returning soon, so I don't have to care for the environment. Or as Calvin DeWitt says, people say, "This world is not my home, I'm only passing through," just as the old song says. I would like to discuss a tenant-landlord relationship in regards to this. Say the tenant leaves the house in shambles. Is that how we want to leave the earth for God, or should we care for creation? My final point is that we must take action. Calvin DeWitt mentions 3 steps that we must take. And the first step is awareness. We must become aware of what's happening in the earth. We must recognize the need for nurturing of the earth, or we will fail as stewards. We also must be aware of the statistics. There are 70 million water bottles a day disposed of in the United States alone. 86% of those are not recycled. And this is from the Environmental Protection Agency website. Also, U.S. greenhouse gas emissions increased 17% from 1990 to 2007. This is also from the Environmental Protection Agency website. And 64% of active churchgoers never heard a sermon on being a good steward to creation. And this was from Barna.org. Step 2 is appreciation. We must learn to value God's earth. We must recognize the beauty and the detail and understand the importance of all of it. Billy Graham is quoted, "When we see the world as a gift from God, we will do our best to take care of it and use it wisely instead of poisoning or destroying it." Step 3 is stewardship. We must learn to be stewards. We must restore and serve DeWitt says, by loving, caring, and keeping what God has given us to hold in trust. In conclusion, I'd like to review my 3 points. God placed us in an environmentally authoritative position. We make many excuses, but the excuses are inadequate. We must take action. We must learn to be good stewards. Let's not contribute to making God's world a chaos, but let's inhabit it, let's care for it, and let's keep it in order. In closing, I would like to quote William Penn. He said, "It would go a long way to caution and direct people in their use of the world, that they were better studied and known in the creation of it. For how could man find the confidence to abuse it, while they should see the great Creator stare them in the face in all and every part thereof?" Thank you so much for coming. God bless.